Welcome you into this broadcast of Oak Ridge High School basketball. Mark Case to my right doing camera work for us. We appreciate him getting everything set up. We had a little bit of an early tip here at Loudon High School. Oak Ridge currently leading over this big Lakeway team, Lakeway Christian Academy, for those unfamiliar, in the Lakeway area just past the Sevierville area, in between Sevierville and just past Jefferson City. It's 5-2 Wildcats. Wildcats are inbounding the ball. Underneath it will be Updegraff. Updegraff Slater, the other Updegraff, along with Lucas Searcy on the court for the Wildcats. A quick turnover, and it's a quick bucket on the left side for Jamison Updegraff. Oak Ridge putting in their full court press. It's a full court man-to-man press at the moment. Kel Slater trying to stop the Lakeway guard. He can't. He's going to kick it off to the wing. Lakeway has it. Now they got a couple of really big kind of post presences, 6'4" and 6'5", that Coach Green told me before the game he could be worried about, as one of Oak Ridge's bigger players in Osborne is unavailable. He's got a foot injury in this one. 5-4 the score. Oak Ridge in the lead. 4:52 to go here in the first quarter. And it's the football star, Brandon Hayward, who checks in for the first time for the Wildcats. Slater guarding the inbound. Across half court is Lakeway, and they get the ball into the big man. And back up top to Haji Jackson, 5'9", sophomore, trying to set up the offense for Lakeway. And they're going to struggle. Nearly coming away with the steal is Slater, and he does. It's tipped out of bounds. I couldn't tell who touched it last, and the referee says Lakeway touches it last. And it'll be Wildcat ball. Up 5-4 is Oak Ridge with 4:41 to go here in the ball or in the first quarter, excuse me. Brennan Scott checks out. The Updegraff brothers into the ball game, along with Slater, Hayward, and Caden Brightthorpe. Hayward's shot is blocked underneath. It was a layup, but he got it was a highly contested one. It'll go the other way. Lakeway with it across half court. Dribbling up top, trying to figure out what they want to do is Colby White, the 6'4" sophomore guard for Lakeway. Over on the right side, it goes to Jackson. Jackson back up top to the big fella, and the biggest guy for either of these two teams, Joseph Malsado. Malsado up top, back to the guard, Amari Francois. Francois dribbles, and it's stolen away. Kel Slater with it, pushing the pace. They don't have numbers, but they're going to get it up to Hayward anyways. He's going to draw some contact, no call, but he finishes. Nice finish there through contact from Brandon Hayward. Quickly the other way comes Lakeway, and they're going to get Hayward with a tripping call. Wasn't a lot of contact, but Lakeway guard was running full speed and just a little bit tripped him up. It'll be Hayward's first, team first. Oak Ridge with one foul, of course. Lakeway with two. It's 6-5, Lakeway with the lead. Or excuse me, Oak Ridge with the lead. 3:50 to go. The clock starts rolling, and Lakeway gets it inbound. Across half court with it is Jackson. Jackson's getting it to the left side. There's nowhere to go, though, with Francois. Francois back up to Jackson. Guarded closely by Brightthorpe. And that pressure defense is going to cause a turnover. Here comes Updegraff back the other way. Dishes it off to Brightthorpe on the right wing, and that one's no good as he tried to get a layup to go. And quickly the other way is going to be Lakeway. Both of these teams clearly wanting to push the pace as Hayward gets a nice block, and it'll be out of bounds and it'll stay Lakeway ball. 6-5, Oak Ridge with the lead. 3:22 to go here in the first quarter. Lakeway making their first and second substitutions of the ball game. It's Updegraff, Brightthorpe, Slater, and Hayward in the ball game for the Wildcats. It's been a small rotation, just one or two guys off the bench so far for Oak Ridge. Coach Green's team playing defense here. Three from the corner is good. That was all money from the corner from Colby White. Oak Ridge back the other way, trying to find an answer. It's Brightthorpe. Caden Brightthorpe, nowhere to go with it, passes it up to Slater. Slater, nice pass underneath to Hayward. Goes up, and it's good. Hayward just finding some space, creating some real estate underneath on that right block. It's a couple of times he's gotten down there and finished with the two-handed layup. Lakeway moving left to right as we see it here. Alex Myers, Mark Haste with you. Lakeway, like I said, moving left to right, cross half court. Nothing going. Oak Ridge is in their full man-to-man defense, and Colby White's got another three from the same spot, and he hits it. Two quick threes from Lakeway in the same far left corner, and both times it was 24 Colby White. And he made them both times. So let's catch our breath here as we had a little bit of a scramble to start with. Mark Hayes, I don't know if I've ever seen a basketball tournament. I've been going to them all my life, playing in them, watching them. Tournaments don't usually start earlier. This one did.
Yeah, it did, and I think the game before is probably, as you were telling me, was a blowout, so that probably helped them pick up. I would think as a tournament director, you would want any game you could to start early, so caught me a little off guard, but glad to be here.
Well, we're here, though, and this game, this individual game sponsor is Madison Insurance. Without them, this broadcast would not be possible. They've been in service for 45 years, and they cover every aspect of your insurance need, home, auto, as well as business, with offices in Oak Ridge and Clinton. Stop by to let one of their knowledgeable staff members help protect the things that are most important to you. Wildcat ball, moving right to left, crossing half court is Slater. Over to Updegraff, back to Slater up top. They're going to try to set something up to Brennan Scott on the left side. Wide open three, he's going to pump fake instead, drive in, kick back out to Slater up top. Resets thing over to Updegraff. Updegraff drives, kicks out to Brennan, top of the key for three. Wildcats tie that one up. Now it's 11-11 with 2:12 left to go, and Oak Ridge is pressuring in the backcourt, nearly coming away with the steal, but Lakeway Christian gets it across the half-court line. And who is it now? It's Eli Briggs with the ball, and then he loses the ball. Why? Because he carries it. The official and coach for Lakeway having a little bit of a discussion. They're not happy with that one. You don't see that one called a bunch. I wish it was called more, and that time the official did make the call. It's 11-11 with 2:03. Kind of a stagnant latter half of the first quarter here as the clock starts going, and it's now under 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. 11-11 your score, Oak Ridge and Lakeway. Lucas Searcy with the ball over to Kel Slater. Kel Slater, top of the key off of Brendan Hayward's screen. He's going to bounce it off the knee of a Lakeway defender, and it's going to roll harmlessly out of bounds underneath the basket, and Oak Ridge will inbound underneath. See if they can get a quick bucket out here as Brennan Scott is posted up in the corner, likes to shoot the three, and he's a very good three-point shooter, but they're not going to go to him. They're trying to get it into Hayward underneath. They do. He's on the block. He's got 4 points from that same spot, and instead he's going to be unselfish and kick it on the left side to Slater. Slater drives against a much taller defender, kicks it out, and that's off the mark for Oak Ridge, and Lakeway quickly across the half court. They've got numbers, and they're going to try to push. On the right side, it goes for Malachi Jim Lawson, and his shot's good, and they've got a 2-point lead. Brennan Scott the other way for Oak Ridge. May have got away with a push-off, but instead they're going to call a Lakeway defender for the foul. The same Lakeway defender who just turned it over a couple possessions ago. It's 13-11. Lakeway with the lead here with 1:24 to go in the first quarter. And it's going to be Lucas Searcy checking right back in. He had a breather, but didn't get to catch much of a breath as Searcy's back into the ballgame for the Wildcats. Inbounding it underneath is Updegraff. Up top it goes to Kel Slater. Slater over to Strader. Strader back up top to Strader. Strader, as he's going to get fouled. Brennan Scott's name could not get out of my mouth, as there's going to be another hand check call. So it's gotten a little bit slow is the pace here in the latter part of the first quarter. A lot more foul calls. 3 fouls for Lakeway, 2 team fouls for Oak Ridge. 13-11 the score, with Lakeway leading. 1 minute and 9 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. Brennan Scott had a man open down low, but that's not the play. They're trying to be patient here as Oak Ridge is going to come off a ball screen up top. That three's no good, and Lakeway is going to get it. Jim Lawson. Up court he goes to Haji Jackson. Jackson thought about passing right back, but instead he's going to pull it out as he's guarded by Brennan Scott up top. Oak Ridge in their full man-to-man defense, full court man-to-man this is. And Jackson's going to give off to Colby White. He's already hit a couple of threes, has White. He's going to be unselfish and pass this one off to Jackson. Jackson, this possession extending into the 20-30 second range now. Lakeway really hasn't even got it inside the three-point arc. And Jackson does momentarily, then he passes it right back up. Up top it goes to Lawson. Jim Lawson, loses the ball, but he's going to go up with it and get fouled. They're going to say foul, I think, was before the shot, which is to Oak Ridge's benefit. Although I'm not sure the free throw percentage of Jim Lawson, but either way, Lakeway underneath the Oak Ridge basket, trying to inbound it with 26.3 seconds to go here in the first quarter. Lakeway with a 2-point lead. Get it into Jim Lawson. Lawson back up to Jackson. Guarded by Brennan Scott. Scott puts the pressure on at the directions of a hollering Coach Green. And the 5-count second is on, and it's broken momentarily. 14 seconds, 13 seconds as Jackson, just kind of dribbling out the clock. The count is back on. It's up to 3, 4, and they pass it off to Jim Lawson. Lawson against Searcy. Is there going to be a block? No, it's a charge. Great play by Caden Updegraff as he came over to help out his teammate who had gotten beaten off the dribble, and it's going to be a charge and Oak Ridge ball with 3.6 seconds to go, down by 2. Can they get a full court shot? It's going to be inbounded to Slater. Slater, one dribble past half court, and he doesn't get the shot off. He took an extra dribble, probably should have taken it as soon as he got past half court, but that'll do it. We're going to take a quick break here. 13-11 your score. Lakeway, a talented Lakeway team, leading the Wildcats by 2 as we head to the second. David Clary and his crew out in Arizona this week. He has requested to join via Twitter Space. Dave, let Mark know if you would like to join in and say something at a certain point. I think via technology of Twitter Spaces, you can do that. And for those not listening via Twitter Spaces, we appreciate you listening. You will be listening after the game. We appreciate you watching anyways. For those that are on Twitter, this is our first time doing it, so if we have technical issues, we apologize. This game, as we head to the second quarter, is brought to you. This individual game sponsor is Madison Insurance Group, located in Clinton and Oak Ridge. Stop by to let one of their knowledgeable staff members help protect the things that are most important to you, whether that's home, auto, or whether that's your business. You can do it all at Madison Insurance Group. Starting the second quarter off, Oak Ridge still moving right to left. Inbound goes to Slater. Up top, over to the left side it goes. And that's Jamison Updegraff. He passes it back to Slater, and they're going to say off the is going to be a travel. Thank you, Mark Hayes. I guess there was a little bit of a foot movement as Updegraff. It was almost a handoff. A very short pass, but somehow there was a travel called. Slater wasn't happy, but we're moving on. Defensively now are the Wildcats as Jackson's got it for Lakeway into the front court. Amari Francois, good-looking guard, young guy. Pretty lean, but he looks like a nice athlete. He's got it. Now he's going to dribble it off, hand off to the left side. It goes back to Jackson. Jackson wearing number 4. Lakeway in their all-blue uniforms, a little bit of white striping on it. New school, new uniforms. It's a good-looking crew as Jackson got it. Still can't beat anybody off the dribble, so he's going to pass it to a teammate. That's Brody Lane, this 5'10 senior, and Lane wants no part of that, so he's going to give it back to Jackson. Jackson beats in his man inside the three-point line. Pull up. Jump shot at the free throw line. That's no good. Long rebound comes out to Slater. Slater trying to push the pace on the left side. He gives it over to Searcy. Searcy back up top to Updegraff, over to Brennan Scott on the right side. Right wing for 3. It's Updegraff. Good. Jamison Updegraff does a nice job finishing the play there, but really that play was started by Kel Slater, who pushed the pace and swung it out. Several Wildcats, I think every Wildcat touched the ball in that possession. As unselfishly, they swung the ball around, and a quick turnover from Lakeway. It's going to give back to Oak Ridge. Slater, left side. Brennan Scott for 3. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't need to tell you how that one finishes. That shot's up, and it's good. And Oak Ridge now has a 17-13 lead, 6:28 to go here in the second quarter. Full court, man-to-man press. I wouldn't say it's a soft press, but it's not super pressure, and it creates another turnover. 2 turnovers in a row. Over to Slater. Slater drives past his defender and gets fouled before he can get the shot off. He was trying to get a shot, but I think they're going to call this one on the floor as he was not quite in his shooting motion just yet. His first, team 5th for Lakeway. Oak Ridge with 3 team fouls. It's 17-13, 16-15 to go here in the second quarter. Quick inbound pass goes to Lucas Searcy, and that shot is good. Just a little 5-foot jumper there. Hard to get much more open or easier than that off of an inbound play. Hayward out there now defending for Oak Ridge. He's checked back into the ball game, doing a nice job defending, and here comes Slater with another steal. Started off from Hayward, and Slater came over to help, and he gets the finish off of the fast break. Lakeway's coach, Mark Hayes, has seen enough. It's 21-13. At the start of the second quarter, it was 13-11. Oak Ridge was trailing. It's a 10-0 run just 2 minutes and 8 seconds into this quarter. What have you seen from Oak Ridge?
Oh, their defense, for sure, Alex. I mean, how many turnovers have we seen? We've seen at least 2 straight turnovers there by Lakewood. So Oak Ridge defense really turning it into offense for them. You know, Kel Slater got a nice little layup there towards the end of that first play.
We are at Loudon High School. Again, the girls will be back in action this evening Maybe we can get David Clary in to talk about that here at halftime, but we've got a little bit of time to go before then, thankfully. We got 5:52 to go here in the second quarter. Oak Ridge with a 10-0 run to start the quarter. It's 21-13 in favor of the Wildcats. Lakeway Christian trying to beat the press, and the coach did something smart at that timeout because they beat it rather easily and get a quick layup. Back the other way quickly comes Oak Ridge. It's Searcy from the corner. That shot is up and no good, and Lakeway's got the rebound. Both of these teams clearly wanting to push the pace here early and often in this ball game, as Colby White's going to pass it off to Jim Lawson for three. That hit absolutely nothing. It was an air ball, but they're going to call number 15 for Lakeway off the ball with an offensive foul. It was a good job. I believe it was Oak Ridge's Jamison Updegraff who was trying to box him out. They're going to get Joseph Masalo, the 6'7" senior, off the ball with the foul. He's a good-looking athlete. Hasn't done much offensively this game for Lakeway, but he's one you got to watch, as Oak Ridge does not really have a big post presence on this team, and especially since Osborne is out with an injury today. Oak Ridge's possession comes up empty, and Lakeway's got it the other way. Across half court's Colby White. He's matched up against Kel Slater. Slater putting some pressure defense on. No count, though, for some reason, as Lakeway's really struggling at this point just to get the ball across the three-point line. They finally do. It's the senior. The 5'10" senior is going to drive in. No good. Oak Ridge is going to tip the rebound out, and it's going to go to Kel Slater. Behind the back dribble. It's a one-on-one. Oh, and he gets another move. Shakes the man, and that's up and good. Lakeway is in some trouble offensively right now. Oak Ridge has found their rhythm defensively. Kel Slater, Brandon Hayward, another turnover. This time Hayward has his man pinned up against the sideline. Kel Slater, nice teammate work there, comes up from behind, gets the steal, and Slater takes a quick three. I think his foot was on the line, but the shot was no good. But boy, Mark Hayes, this Oak Ridge defense has hit a different gear. It's like they flipped a switch at the start of the second quarter.
Yeah, they did, Alex. You know, their press has really caused problems. I mean, they came out of a timeout and handled the press well, but that's the only time. Other than that, they've been really struggling with the press.
And they're going to get another chance to see it again as Oak Ridge puts it on. Brandon Hayward and Kel Slater at the top of this press in the backcourt. Jackson picks up his dribble. That's not smart, but he's going to find a teammate over to Jim Lawson, and they're going to try to keep pushing the pace. Lawson's shot is no good. Rebound out of bounds. And whose ball is it? It's the Wildcats. Wildcats, the home team here. A little bit closer to Loudon, so we'll say it makes sense in this tournament today. We'll be back in action against Concord Christian, located around the Farragut area, tomorrow, regardless of the result of this game, I believe, according to Coach Green. As Oak Ridge hits a three, that is Jamison Updegraff. He's had an active second quarter here, done a lot of good things offensively and defensively for Oak Ridge. Nearly get a steal does Oak Ridge again, but Colby White's going to get away with the push-off, drive in, rise up above Jamison Updegraff, and hit the shot. Smooth 15-footer there for White. Back the other way, quickly go the Wildcats, and there's going to be a hand-checking call. I'm not sure if it's against White. No, it's against Eli Bridges, the 5'10 junior. Probably the first time we've called his name for Lakeway. That is the 7th team foul, which puts the Wildcats into the bonus. It'll be shooting 1-1 from this point. Oak Ridge with 3:36 to go here in the first half. They lead it by 9, 26-17. Kel Slater to the line for a 1-1. Can he put him up by double digits? He does as he hits the first. It's pure. One of the more quiet basketball games you'll probably attend all year. Sometimes these Christmas tournaments, you get teams traveling from far. It's a weekday in the middle of the day. Sometimes parents, cheerleaders can't get off. And so it's not a real raucous environment. Most of the people, unfortunately for their ears, can probably hear my voice today, as a second free throw was no good. So it's a 27-17, 10-point lead for the Wildcats. 3:20 to go here in the second quarter. Jackson with it for Lakeway, moving left to right. Get off the left side to White, back up top. It goes. Over to Jim Lawson. They tried to get it to go to, but Lucas Searcy nearly comes out of the way at the a tip ball. Instead, White gets it back, and he kind of forces a pseudo-fast break, which ends up working out in Lakeway's favor as he gets the layup up and good. 8-point lead now for the Wildcats. They're coming back the other way. Searcy, spot up three, good. As that was Caden Updegraff, that's my apologies right there. First time seeing the Wildcats this year, so I'm getting a couple of the names mixed up, and that's on me. As that's another air ball for Lakeway back the other way, as Brandon Hayward had nice defense. Hayward's going to take a seat, and into the game will come Brennan Scott and Lucas Searcy. So Searcy, Scott, Caden Brightthorpe, all three of those are in there for the Wildcats, along with Kel Slater. And if he'll turn, I can see his number. That's Caden Updegraff remains in the ball game. 11-point lead. It's 30-19. 2:36 to go here in the second quarter. Clock is rolling. Updegraff with it. Over on the right side goes to Slater. Slater fakes, drives past his man, up and under layup, and that's good. He finished with some contact, no call, but Slater just really in total control of this game, controlling the tempo really on both ends, on offense and on defense, as Lakeway gets a quick shot. No good the other way, but Lawson gets the rebound. And that's what he can do. Malachi Jim Lawson, the 6'5 junior. He's 6'5, but he is muscular. He can fight for those rebounds, and Oak Ridge is going to have a problem if he's on the board today. Oak Ridge's shot was no good, and Jim Lawson comes back the other way, and it's going to be an and one as Jim Lawson dished it on the last second. Unselfish play from him. He gives it over to Joseph Masalo, the 6'7 senior. Masalo gave it to Jim Lawson. It's a hyphenated last name, so his first name is not Jim. His first name, if you're confused, is Malachi, last name Jim Lawson. Jim Lawson at the free throw line. This team trailing by 9. It's an and one opportunity, so he only gets one. 1:55 to go here in the second quarter. His shot is good. It brings it within 8. Oak Ridge leading 32-24. 1:55 to go here in the first half. With it now is Jamison Updegraff. He's going to drive over the defender, and that's good. Nice little teardrop, Tony Parker style, from Jamison Updegraff. He's had a really nice first half and a great second quarter in particular. Oak Ridge's half-court trap or full-court trap is now on, and they're going to get Masalo with the travel as they finally broke the press just enough to get it across half court. But Masalo, a big, strong 6'7" post, was not quite comfortable with it and moved his feet as he was trying to find somebody to pass it to. And Oak Ridge with a 10-point lead gets the ball back with 1:33 to go here in the second quarter. Jamison Updegraff over on the left side. On the wing, it goes to Kel Slater. He denies a screen. Going to try to take his man one-on-one. Doesn't have much success early on, and he's going to have to dish it off to Lucas Searcy. Searcy's going to drive from the left side all the way to the right and going to find a man. That's Brightthorpe for 3 on the wing, and that's good. Brightthorpe with that corner 3. He was hitting it, and he was money from warm-ups. And from that same spot here at the game, he's hitting them as well. 13-point lead with 1:06 to go here in the first half. It's Colby White with it for Lakeway, his team trailing. Updegraff going to fight through the screen. Colby White still trying to take him one-on-one, and it's just not going to work. They're going to do a nice job of switching the screens, is Oak Ridge, and their perimeter defense has been lights out so far. Jackson's going to continue to try to take it against Jamison Updegraff, and sir, that's not going to work, not today. But you know what will work? The big fella underneath. He forced the missed shot, did Updegraff, but Oak Ridge just doesn't have a dominant post presence right now underneath, so Lakeway gets a quick putback, and with 32 seconds to go, Oak Ridge is going to, I think, hold for the last shot. Probably a smart decision as the Wildcats lead it by 11. 25 seconds to go. Oak Ridge trying to get the last shot, and they're going to get a turnover. They had a Brightthorpe cutting to the middle, but it's not a smart pass as there was a defender in between. And now Lakeway has a shot if they want to take the last shot. 12 seconds remaining. Lakeway with the ball down by 11. Jackson with the ball. Inside it goes to Masalo. Masalo over Searcy. That shot is short. It's no good, but Lakeway gets a rebound. Can they get it up quickly? They don't. It's a jump ball, but it will stay, unfortunately for Coach Green, it will stay Lakeway's ball. 1.9 seconds to go. Underneath the Oak Ridge basket, Lakeway with it. Can they get a quick shot off? Updegraff, Jamison Updegraff, guarding the inbound. Searcy now guarding Colby White for 3, and that's an air ball, no good. 3 air balls to my count in the first half. Lakeway shot a lot of threes, didn't have much success, and because of that Oak Ridge defensive effort, the Wildcats go into the break at halftime with an 11-point lead. It's 37-26, Oak Ridge over Lakeway. We're going to take a quick break. Be back in just a moment.
Glad to do it. Good luck.
And if you are just joining us, we want to welcome you into Loudon High School here on Prep Radio's broadcast of the Oak Ridge Wildcats against Lakeway. There's the Lakeway Lions here. Oak Ridge is leading at the half, 37-26. We're getting things started in the second half. For Oak Ridge, it's going to be Caden Updegraff inbounding to Kel Slater. Slater also in there with Jamison Updegraff, who was a star of the first half, Lucas Searcy, and Brennan Scott. Get it to Searcy. Down to Caden Updegraff. Caden's got to get it stolen momentarily, and I don't know how that wasn't out of bounds, but it benefits Oak Ridge as they swing the ball around. A three-point shot by Searcy was no good, and Updegraff, that's Jamison Updegraff, comes out of there with it. Inside to Slater. Slater pump fakes once, pump fakes twice, gets the shot up, but couldn't get it to go over the taller defenders, and Oak Ridge is going to get called with a foul as Lakeway, as they did all first half, is going to try to push the pace right there. Both teams very athletic. Lakeway's roster, top to bottom, just a much taller, longer roster than Oak Ridge's. But Oak Ridge's got a lead, 37-26. It was all defense. Really the reason they got that lead in the first half, created a lot of turnovers. Let's see what adjustments Lakeway makes here in the second half. That's not a good start. Another air ball for Lakeway. They're going to get their own rebound. They're going to tip it out. Jackson on the right side, wing shot for three, and that's good. First three Lakeway Christian Academy has seen fall in quite some time, since probably early in the second quarter. That's got to feel good for their offense. Searcy back the other way for the Wildcats. Pump fake, dribble into the free throw line. His jump shot is up, no good. And Lakeway comes out of there with the rebound. Amari Francois, the 6'1" senior. That's a fun name to say. He's got the ball for Lakeway up top of the key. He's going to kick it off the right wing. They're post player. He's going to drive down against Caden Updegraff. He gets a shot up and good, and Updegraff got his arms bent forward. And that's going to create contact, which is a foul, and it will send Malachi Jim Lawson, the 6'5" junior, big-bodied guy for Lakeway. And that's the problem that Oak Ridge is going to have throughout this game is Coach Green was kind of telling me before the game that, A, Oak Ridge is not a big team to begin with, especially down low, but specifically with DJ Darren Osborne out this game with an injury. The post presence was a issue that Coach Green was certainly concerned about. And one opportunity is good. Oak Ridge breaks the quick Lakeway press. Get it to Brennan Scott. That shot is off the mark, barely, no good. But Kel Slater gets the rebound. He puts it back up and good off the right side. And that's a big basket to put Oak Ridge back up by 7. 39-32, 6:22 to go here in the third quarter as Jackson breaks the press for Lakeway. Gives it over to Francois. That shot is no good, but Masalo's putback is good, and Oak Ridge quickly back the other way. Brennan Scott, little dribble drive on the right side. He loses it momentarily, gives it over to Kel Slater, but it's tipped out of bounds by a Lakeway defender, and Oak Ridge will narrowly retain possession with 6:06 to go here in the third quarter. 5-point lead for Oak Ridge. We warned you about this Lakeway team at halftime. Coach Green kind of alluded that this is one of the more, if not the most talented team that Oak Ridge has played to this point in the season. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Oak Ridge up 39-34, but the lead is dwindling before our very eyes. Swinging around up top, it goes to Updegraff. Jamison was fouled, I thought, but they don't call it. His three-point shot was off the mark, and it falls out of bounds, and Lakeway will get the ball back. Down by 5, trying to make this a one-possession game for the first time in a very long time. Lakeway breaks the press without too much trouble, as Jim Lawson's going to be fouled, and it's going to be on the floor. And Oak Ridge quickly now with 3 team fouls. That one was on Kel Slater with the easy reach call. Oak Ridge with 3 quick team fouls to start the third quarter. Lakeway trying down by 5 to get this to a one-possession game with 5:38 to go here in the third. Lakeway swinging around the top of the key. They're happy to just take 3-pointers all day. Jackson does just that, but his shot's off the mark, no good. And Oak Ridge's Jamison Updegraff comes back the other way, pushing the pace now. Brennan Scott over to Caden Updegraff. In the corner goes to Searcy, back up top to Brennan Scott. Scott, play hot potato with it, gets back to Scott on the left wing. They forgot about him, and you can't do that. Brennan Scott, another 3. He's a sniper from long range. Oak Ridge desperately needed that shot to fall, and it did. It puts them back up by 8. So Lakeway's going to try to have to figure out this Oak Ridge half-court defense. It's a man-to-man defense. Oak Ridge and the home team on the scoreboard in their all-white home uniforms. As, boy, Jamison Updegraff has has played really nice defense up at the top of the key, guarding their point guard all afternoon long. And speaking of good defense, Kel Slater with a nice closeout in the corner. It's going to create a Lakeway travel. So Oak Ridge is just speeding Lakeway up a little bit, Mark Hayes, a little bit faster than they want to go at times, even right there in a half-court setting. As Lakeway, I don't know that they've been defended quite like they have today all year long. Oak Ridge gets the ball back, facing this half-court defense now as from Lakeway as Oak Ridge's Kel Slater brings the ball up. Lucas Searcy thought about sending a pick, and he doesn't. Now he will. Slater uses it, goes off the right side to Updegraff to Brennan Scott in the corner. Now Updegraff. He's going to use the Searcy screen. Looks for him to roll, but he didn't roll. I think that's one that they need Lucas Searcy to roll. And instead, they're going to fire a long-range three from Caden Updegraff, and he hesitated, and that shot was no good. Nor is that pass, which nearly hits Mark Hayes' camera. As this game's getting a little bit sloppy, but that's what happens in basketball games, especially when you've got a couple of good defenses. Mark, what are you seeing right now?
It's okay. It's David's camera.
David's camera and my face that almost got hit. As Dave once told me, is the camera okay? After I got hit at a football game. Oak Ridge with the ball now, 42-34 the lead with 4:03 to go. As a nice bounce pass across the defense gets through to Slater, but his layup is off the mark, no good, couldn't finish through the contact. Caden Updegraff with what could be an intentional foul. He wrapped him up, which is what you have to do to a big guy like that because he's strong enough to get it through the foul, and you don't want an and one opportunity. But Oak Ridge's Jamison Updegraff probably lucky he didn't get called with an intentional foul. Lakeway says they were shooting. The official says they were not. So they'll inbound underneath the Oak Ridge basket. Goes to Masalo. Masalo up top to Haji Jackson, who finds a wide open player underneath, and he can't follow the shot. Brendan Hayward now into the ball game again for the Wildcats. He's going to try to push the pace, fakes the pass, goes up right side, strong layup, but just off the mark. And Oak Ridge is going to have to trot back and play some defense. Lakeway with it, crossing half court, is Colby White. White looking to his coach, who's barking out signals, and his teammates aren't really following. So he's going to try to take a man one-on-one, won't use the screen, finally gives it off to his teammate in the corner, who drives, shot up, good, gets the friendly roll here at Loudon High School. Does Malachi Jim Lawson, the 6'5 junior, who's going to get another and one opportunity.
Foul 0, Hayward is third.
It will be Hayward's third, so just as quickly as he checks into the ball game, he and Brennan Scott will check back out. Going to be both Updegraff brothers into the ball game for Oak Ridge, along with Lucas Searcy, Kel Slater, and Caden Brightthorpe. Jim Lawson to the free throw line for Lakeway, trying to complete the old-fashioned and one, and he does it. The old-fashioned three-point play, I misspoke. It's a 5-point lead, now dwindling once again for Oak Ridge. 3:18 to go here in the third. Oak Ridge trying to extend that lead past two possessions right here. Give and go underneath, Searcy, Slater, shot up, and no good, but there is a foul. Nice give and go. As big as this team is, Mark Hayes, this Lakeway team is pretty consistently giving some open passing and cutting lanes inside.
Yeah, they are. I mean, opportunities are there for the Wildcats. We saw earlier they had a pick and roll. That the roll was there. Unfortunately, we just didn't take advantage of it.
I'm sure Coach Green saw that just like we did, and I look for Oak Ridge to continue to try to exploit that weakness. As the first shot was up and good from Kel Slater. It's a 6-point lead for the Wildcats, 43-37 the lead, 3:12 to go here in the third. Slater's second shot, he shorts it, but Oak Ridge's Updegraff gets the rebound, falling away. Jamison Updegraff gets the shot to go, and that's an 8-point lead for the Wildcats, who Updegraff gets called for the block. Probably the right call, but pretty close there, and they were right in front of some Oak Ridge. Pretty close to some Oak Ridge fans, and they were not happy. The foul count is 6-1. Oak Ridge has been called for 6 fouls to Lakeway's 1. Lakeway across the court. This cat wants no business with the ball. He quickly passes it away to Haji Jackson. Haji Jackson directing traffic on the offensive end, tries to fight through a screen. Oak Ridge is just going to say, well, we'll switch that all day. Kel Slater now guarding Colby White up top. White drives in momentarily, gives it off to a teammate. Haji Jackson now calling for the screen. He's going to take it left. Brightthorpe fights through it, and his man's got to pass it off in the corner. That's Colby White, and that's good. He's hit 3 3-pointers, has Colby White. All 3 have been from the left corner for Lakeway. You got to watch him there. Brightthorpe with it for Oak Ridge, trying to get something going. Can't drive baseline. Nice job of the Lakeway defender. Left it goes. Back to Slater in the middle. He's amongst the trees, so he passes it off to his big teammate Caden Updegraff, who gets tied up, but by the time the official blew the whistle, there was no other hand on the ball. Questionable call right there, and Coach Green is asking the official what that was. And I kind of agree with Coach Green on this one. It's a 5-point lead for Oak Ridge, 2:16 to go here in the third, 45-40 the score. Lakeway Christian going against this press that they've had a lot of trouble with here early on. They break it easily this time. And it's Jim Lawson who dribbled it off his foot. Should have been a kick ball, no call. And instead he's going to find a teammate inside. And that is Reagan Faison, the 6'3 junior for Lakeway. Maybe his first points of the night. And a nice finish from Faison. It's now a 3-point ball game. Oak Ridge, speaking of 3 points, they're going to take a 3-pointer. That's no good from Lucas Searcy. He was wide open. Good looking shot, just a little bit long, hit back rim, and Lakeway's got the ball with 1:45 to go here in the third quarter, down by 3. Now they're only down by 1. Is Haji Jackson, one of the nice dribble moves I've seen all day. Just a hesitation. The defender relaxed, stood up, and Haji Jackson just drove in for the layup. 1-point lead from Oak Ridge. It's quickly dwindled. It was 11 at one point, I believe, here in the second half. Back over top. Caden Updegraff. His shot is up, off the rim, no good. And Lakeway's got a chance to take the lead as Colby White's pushing the pace. He's going to dribble through 2 Oak Ridge defenders. His shot is up and way off. And a nice rebound that time from Lucas Searcy, who's then fouled 90 feet away from the basket. And if this place had a few more Oak Ridge fans, you might hear the old Bronx cheer, as Oak Ridge has been called for 16 fouls this half. That is just Lakeway's second foul of the half. And Oak Ridge has got a 45-44 lead, a 1-point lead with 1:12 to go here in the third quarter. A late sub. They'll let it come in from Lakeway. Caden Brightthorpe, Brennan Scott, Lucas Searcy, Jamison Updegraff, and Kel Slater, the 5 on the court for the Wildcats. Is no full court pressure really all game, and that won't change right here as Oak Ridge is just going to walk the ball gingerly up the court from Slater up to Brightthorpe. Brightthorpe over to Searcy. Up top it goes to Brennan Scott. He's going to dribble the free throw line. He's going to get fouled as he tried to fight through a screen. And it was a nice screen set by Searcy, but Lakeway just had it defended. And unfortunately for Lakeway, they reached when they really didn't need to. And the 1-point lead for Oak Ridge. They've got the ball and the lead, and the ball's batted out of bounds, and it's going to be Oak Ridge ball underneath the Lakeway basket. Trying to extend this 1-point lead, 45-44 for the Wildcats, 53 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Nice cut off the back screen from Kel Slater, and that's a wide open layup. Oak Ridge up by 3. Lakeway going back the other way quickly. Haji Jackson trying to beat Kel Slater. It's a foot race. He does, and he's going to dish it off in the corner. That shot's off the mark from 3. No good. And now quickly evening up the foul count just a little bit are these officials, as Haji Jackson's going to get called, I believe, for the foul about 80 feet from the basket. So a couple of quick fouls way away from the basket. Not smart, but it looks like Lakeway's trying to maybe put just a little bit of pressure and not let Oak Ridge just walk the ball up the court. 38 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Oak Ridge up by 3. Let's see if they want to try to take the last shot. That would be my choice, but I'm not the coach of the Wildcats, and thank goodness for that, as Kel Slater gives it on the left side to Updegraff. Over to Searcy in the corner, nowhere to go. He wisely gives it back to Updegraff up top, and now it goes to Slater. Slater, Updegraff just kind of tossing it back and forth. Get it back into Caden Updegraff. He gives it to Searcy, and now back up top, and Oak Ridge is going to clearly try to take the last shot here. 13 seconds to go, now 12, 11, 10, as it goes up top to Jamison Updegraff, who loses the ball, gets it back, fights up for a rebound, no good. His brother Caden gets the shot, that falls, and a foul. So Oak Ridge, who had their lead cut all the way to 1, had the ball with 1 shot to go before the half. They hit that shot to go up by 5, and Caden Updegraff got fouled. And let's see if he can make it a 6-point lead. He will. That shot was pure from the free throw line. Oak Ridge will put their press on, but you don't want to foul here. 3.5 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Nobody gets the ball, and he's going to easily dribble across half court, and that shot was short. Oak Ridge, not a lot of pressure there to stop the ball. Lakeway trails this one, though. They missed the shot, and Oak Ridge leads 50-44. Tough start to the quarter there, Mark Haste, but a nice job finishing the quarter to go back up by 6. Oak Ridge almost lost the lead.
Yeah, I think if we had a tail of the tape, I think we'd probably give Lakeway the first quarter, Oak Ridge definitely the second quarter, and probably Lakeway the third quarter. So Oak Ridge with, they got some more work to do here in the fourth quarter.
And you saw just how quickly when they hit a shot or two, Lakeway can get back into these ball games. Speaking of this ball game, today's individual game sponsor is Madison Insurance Group. In service for 45 years, Madison Insurance Group serves every aspect of your insurance needs. MIG has direct access to multiple leading insurance carriers to ensure a one-stop approach. This enables Madison to give you the best coverage at the best price for your home and auto, as well as business insurance. With offices in Clinton and Oak Ridge, stop by to let one of their knowledgeable staff members help protect the things that are most important to you. Possession arrow points towards the Wildcats, so Oak Ridge will get the ball to start the fourth quarter. 50-44 the lead. A little bit of a flurry there, a late flurry for the Wildcats to extend their lead from 1 back up to 6. And we've got 8 minutes of regulation basketball to go here from Loudon. Love Christmas time, love basketball tournaments, Christmas tournaments. They're always a fun way to see. And as David was talking about with the girls down in Arizona, a lot of times, win or loss, you get a lot out of it from a team bonding standpoint. Let's see if Oak Ridge can get the win here. They got 1 quarter to go. Brennan Scott's got it to start things off. He's going to hesitation, crossover, and shot is off the mark, no good. He shorted it just a little bit. Colby White comes out of there with it for Lakeway. He's going to pass it off to Francois. Francois guarded closely by Kel Slater. Francois back to White. White up top, guarded by Updegraft. He's swinging around the right side. Lakeway trying to figure out what they want to do. They're setting back screens, but no ball screens right now. And the ball itself is kind of stagnant. They're not really getting anything going, just a bunch of hot potato passes. And here comes a steal off the hands of a Lakeway player, and it goes in the hands of Kel Slater, who's going to finish going coast to coast, absorbing some contact, and putting Oak Ridge up by 8. 5-second count nearly on, but they get the ball inbounds finally, does Lakeway, and now they're going to try to push the pace. They get it inside to Masalo. Masalo's shot is good. A nice pass from Jim Lawson to Masalo, and that shot is good. Lakeway back. Their deficit is cut to 6. Brennan Scott with it in the right corner. Him and Slater kind of jammed up in a traffic jam over there in the corner in front of Oak Ridge's bench. Back it goes to Brennan Scott up top. He's looking left with it, and it goes to Caden Updegraft. Updegraft up top now to Slater. Slater examining things, and he's just going to say, let's just keep passing it around the wing until we can find something we like. Finally get a back cut underneath, and that's Updegraft. Caden gets the shot. First shot was no good. Gets his own rebound, thought about going up for it. Instead passes it out to Brennan Scott, who misses an open 3, and Lakeway's going back the other way, and will wisely, as they don't have the numbers, pull the ball back and slow the pace. Let's get things started if they're Lakeway. They go inside, which I think they should have done more of earlier in the game. That shot's up and good. Mark Case, that shot, if they go to their big man, they've got a clear size advantage. If they do that, that shot's there for them all game long. It's 52-48, a 4-point lead for the Wildcats. 5:55 to go here in the fourth and presumably final quarter. As Oak Ridge with it, moving left to right in their all-white uniforms. 5-second count is on, and Brennan Scott's going to pass it up top to Slater. Slater, Oak Ridge's offense trying to figure out what they want to do here. A back screen to Brennan Scott, and can't get him the ball, and so Caden Updegraft's just going to drive, and the defender didn't do a lot, but I guess he had his hands on him. They're going to call a foul off the ball, and now the foul count was 6-1. Oak Ridge had been called 6 fouls to only 1 Lakeway foul all half to start the third quarter, and now it's all even. 5 straight fouls have gone Lakeway's way. The next foul for either team will put the opposite team in the bonus. Oak Ridge with it. Scanning the offense is Slater. He's going to get it to Caden Updegraft, and that's going to be an easy charge call. Was it a flop, Mark Case? Mark Case says yes, but I would argue when you lower your shoulder, you're inviting that call. So maybe a flop, but probably most coaches would also say a smart play from the Lakeway defender. As Lakeway will get the ball back, and because it's an offensive foul, even though there's 7 fouls called, Lakeway will not shoot a free throw. And let's see, they're going to try to shoot a layup goal on the other end, and they do. Colby White, I think he's got to be more aggressive. He's been their best offensive player so far, but he's not been real selfish with the ball. I think late in the game, maybe it's time for him to do it. Speaking of with the ball, that's Kel Slater, and what does he do? He just nails a 3. Nice screen. I believe it was Lucas Searcy that time who set a screen. Kel Slater just steps back, pauses, holds the arm up with the follow-through, and nails a 3. It's a 5-point lead for Oak Ridge, 6:06 to go here in the fourth quarter. Mark Haste, this one has what looked like in the second quarter it might be a blowout has turned out to be a really entertaining back-and-forth game between these two teams.
Yeah, you said that Coach Green said this is probably the best talented team that they have played year to date, and I agree. I mean, this is a very talented team. They got some great size. It really causes the Wildcats problems. But one thing I've noticed is kind of got the sense earlier in the game that they're going to want to run with us, and typically that is not to the opposing team's advantage, because Coach Green, he requires all of his players to be in great shape, and the fast-paced game is really typically in Oak Ridge's favor.
The one thing I would say against my argument that I'm getting ready to make is that they have the size advantage down low, and I think if you're Lakeway, you probably want to slow things down and post up a little bit. However, I think part of the reason that Lakeway wants to run is not that they're trying to out-athlete Oak Ridge, it's that they don't want to have to face that half-court defense when it's set up, because they've had a lot of trouble going against Oak Ridge's defense when they've been able to get set up.
The thing that I've noticed is they don't press, which means they're trying to conserve their energy too.
Yeah, good point there. And Oak Ridge, though, will press. Lakeway inbounding the ball, moving right to left, and they nearly get a turnover, and they will. Oak Ridge got away with the shove, but Oak Ridge is going to get the ball anyways. And off the turnover, that's Updegraff with the rebound. Updegraff with the miss, and he puts it back up and in. It was Caden with the miss, and Jamison Updegraff who got the rebound and put back, and Oak Ridge can now set up their press one more time as it's going to be broken, just one man dribbling past it. It's Haji Jackson who's yelling out push, a signal for a specific play. And let's see, Jackson inside. They're going to be double teamed, is the man down low. And so just out of that break, what we're talking about, Mark, they did indeed try to post a man up. They got a 6'7" guy and a 6'5" guy. Oak Ridge's tallest guy is probably 6'2", 6'3" in the game right now.
Yeah, that's where we're really missing Darren Osborne, our big guy. He's in a boot, so Darren typically can be a good weapon against a 6'5" guy like what they have.
Shot was no good, but the call was on the floor, surprisingly. And so after he misses the first shot, does Jim Lawson. Oak Ridge gets the rebound. They did a nice job of boxing out, and they go into it with the front court. Wright Thorpe with it, up top to Jamison Updegraff. Over to Slater. Slater really thought about a three. He's feeling it after he just hit one a couple possessions ago. And he thinks better of it. Going to pass it off and get it right back on the right wing. Examining the defense, trying to figure out what to do. He's got a much bigger defender on him, but he's got the quickness advantage. He's going to drive right past him, but a help defender comes over and blocks the shot. I heard a lot of ball from here, but the refs are going to say, you got ball, but you got some skin too, as they're going to call a foul, and Slater will go to the line for 2 shots. So both teams now into the bonus, but Oak Ridge was a shooting foul, so Kel Slater will get 2 free throws right here. Oak Ridge leading 57-50, 4:03 to go in the ball game. Slater at the line for his first. That shot is up, pure, as a nothing but net was the first one. The noise in the background. We're closer to the Lakeway bench, and their coach is urging them to stay in the ball game here as the lead is now extended to 9 for Oak Ridge. Nice job by Slater hitting both free throws. Quick inbound goes Lakeway. They're going to try to go all the way 94 feet running with the ball, and they do, but the shot is off the backboard, a little too strong from Colby White, and Oak Ridge gets the rebound going back the other way. Oak Ridge head coach, longtime head coach, Aaron Green, waving his hands in the air, barking out signals for the play he once called. It's going to be Updegraff up top, going off of a screen set by Slater, and they're going to call Colby White again with the reach. They're going to call a hold, and it's going to be 1-1. And the official now exchanging words back and forth a couple of times with Lakeway's head coach. Lakeway's head coach is not happy, as this foul call, at one point there were 6 straight fouls called against Lakeway, but the fouls are even, Mark. It's 8-8.
Yeah, I think the pick and roll was there by Kel Slater that time too, David. Alex, he had an opportunity to roll there.
1-1 goes Jamison Updegraff, but he can't hit it, so Lakeway gets the rebound and goes back the other way. This should be a charge, and it's going to be a block, as Lucas Searcy was underneath. He was in college or the NBA, you'd say he was in the restricted zone. That's non-existent in high school. His feet, I thought, were set, but the official had a better view than I did, and he says he wasn't, so it's going to be a block. And this was a shooting foul, so Haji Jackson will go to the line for 2. His first shot up and good. As both of these teams, for the most part, have hit their free throw shots here. In this one, Oak Ridge leading 59-51 with 3:35 to go here in the fourth and final quarter. Jackson made the first. Let's see if he can hit the second one and make it an 8-point ball game. He does. And a quick timeout, blue, which means Lakeway calls the timeout. Full timeout. Let's take a 30-second break, and we'll be back with fourth quarter action here from Loudon High School. Welcome back to Loudon High School. I want to remind you that today's individual game sponsor is Madison Insurance Group. In service for 45 years, Madison Insurance Group serves every aspect of your insurance needs. They have direct access to multiple leading insurance carriers to ensure a one-stop approach. This enables Madison Insurance Group to give you the best coverage at the best price for your home and auto, as well as business insurance. With offices in Clinton and Oak Ridge, stop by to let one of their knowledgeable staff members help protect the things that are most important to you. And right now, the thing that Oak Ridge is trying to protect that's most important to them is this lead. It's a 7-point lead. They flirted with giving it away a couple of times, but every time Lakeway gets close, Oak Ridge just extends it a little bit more. It's now a 7-point lead again, 59-52. Oak Ridge leads, 3:35 to go here in the fourth quarter. Oak Ridge finally sees a press really for one of the first times all night out of that timeout, but to no avail as they broke it pretty easily. Kel Slater into the front court, maybe got away with the push-off there, but they don't call it, and Slater puts it up off the glass, kisses it off the glass on the left side to put Oak Ridge up by 9. Lakeway with it, it's Colby White going against Jamison Updegraff, and they're going to get Kel Slater. He's trying to play help defense, who just kind of wound up like a pitcher and slapped at the ball, but he got a piece of Lakeway's Colby White's arm. And I heard it from here, Mark. No complaints from the Oak Ridge staff on that one. It's a pretty easy call. And Colby White, the one thing you don't want to do against a good team, if you're having a lead late and the clock's dwindling down, you don't want to let them score without taking time off the clock, so you can't foul. But Oak Ridge did there, and the Colby White's first free throw is up and good, narrowing the lead down to 8. It's 61-53, Wildcats in the lead, 3:14, the Pie score here in the fourth quarter. Second shot from White, up and good as well. Kel Slater gets the inbound pass and is going to be, I thought, fouled, but they're going to call a travel. Do you see that, Mark? I mean, he was dribbling, so I'm not sure I've seen many travel calls while a guy's dribbling, but maybe he saw something I did. I thought he maybe stepped out of bounds, but they say traveling. So Lakeway gets the ball back, trying to cut into this Oak Ridge lead a little bit further. Pass out to the wing. It's going to be a three-point shot. Is off the mark, no good, from Jim Lawson, and Oak Ridge's Lucas Searcy, I think, gets the rebound there. It may have been Updegraff, Caden, and gives it to Slater, who's going to walk it across half court and give it over to Hayward. Hayward drives right side through two defenders. May have got away with the extra step, but the reason he took that step is because he got fouled, and they're going to call that. And it's going to be a block against Lakeway.
Foul number 10, Briggs. His fourth.
It's Briggs, which will be his fourth, so he's going to take a seat on the bench here. Oak Ridge Hayward, the dual sport athlete, has been getting a lot of attention in football, but he's done a nice job here as a complimentary player for this basketball team here on this Tuesday afternoon. With 2:48 to go in the fourth, clock has been stopping a lot lately, and it's stopped now as Brennan Hayward will go to the line for a shot at 2 free throws. 61-54 the lead for Oak Ridge. Hayward's first shot is up, and that's no good, and I apologize. Wrong side of the scoreboard I was looking at. That was only 9 fouls for Lakeway. As they go back the other way quickly, their shot is no good. There's a scramble for the ball, and Jim Lawson comes out of there with it, and they're going to give it back to Colby White up top. Coaches barking out signals for Lakeway. They're going to get a wide open three in the corner. That shot's long off the mark, no good, but another offensive rebound to this possession for Lakeway. It's Haji Jackson who's going to get fouled as he's trying to drive, and it's going to be Jamison Searcy called with the foul. And it wasn't shooting, but Oak Ridge has now fouled 11 times, and so every foul from here on out, regardless of if it's shooting or not, Lakeway is going to get 2 free throws. And again, Mark, that's what we talk about. The clock has stopped, and you're letting this team get opportunities to score points. You don't want that to happen. Is Haji Jackson. He plays with a lot of control, kind of sets the pace, kind of like a Kel Slater. Similar body types, not the biggest guys, maybe not the fastest, really heady players. I like both of these guys, and Haji Jackson, hits the first free throw, spins the ball, twirls it up in the air for the second. Wasn't as pretty as the first one, but he gets it to fall, and it's 61-56 lead now. Back down to 5 for Oak Ridge with 2:15 to go as Slater brings it across the court. Kel Slater gives it to Caden Updegraff, dribble past the double team, and he's going to get fouled from behind by Colby White, and that finally puts Oak Ridge into the double bonus. You can hear the Lakeway coach what he's saying, and he's just kind of saying that's just the stuff you don't want to do. You can't do that. You can't foul when they didn't need to do that. Lakeway now having a dispute with the scorers table, saying it should be 57, not 56 for there. And I think they might be right, as Oak Ridge's Caden Updegraff goes to the line for 2. First is up and good. And let's see if they ever change the scoreboard. It's still 56 on the board for Lakeway. And the second free throw is off the front rim, no good. And right now it's 62-56 to score. Oak Ridge with the lead, less than 2 minutes to go now. As they're swinging it around, Lakeway's got it with a 3. That's off the mark. Long off back iron, no good. And Brendan Hayward comes out of there with a nice rebound. Slater now walking across the half-court line in no rush at all with 1:45 to go here in the fourth quarter. They're going to double-team Updegraff on the left side, and they give it back to Slater. They won't double-team him, though. As long as he's at the top of the key, it doesn't appear. And he's just going to hold it, give it over to Jamison on the left side. Wide open underneath. Nice pass into Hayward, who dishes it off before even coming down with the ball to a wide open Caden Updegraff. That's Oak Ridge. 2 more points on the board. Back the other way quickly. Haji Jackson gets it off the backboard, but it was no good. And he somehow gets the rebound, passes it out to a teammate, and he's going to be fouled. And they're not happy about that one, is Oak Ridge, as it will send Haji Jackson back to the free throw line. He's proved that he can hit him. The foul was on Kel Slater. Thank you, Mark Haste. I was kind of blocked. I didn't see it. But Oak Ridge not happy about it. They won't be happy about that either, as Haji Jackson makes the first free throw. He'll get the second one. Lakeway kind of having a full-on huddle while the free throw is going on, which you can do. As their coach barking out instructions, trying to chip down on this lead. It's 64-57. They never gave him that extra point that they were asking for, but he makes both free throws, so it's 64-68 with 1:16 to go here in the fourth quarter. Oak Ridge with the ball after the 2 made free throws from Lakeway. Slater gets it across half court, over in the right corner to Brennan Scott, who's been deadly from 3 in this game, but hasn't shot much here in the fourth quarter, if at all. He won't shoot now, gives it back up top to Slater. Slater trying to create some space, does so, passes it off on the left side, and gets it right back. Slater double team now on the left elbow, who's going to drive past that somehow, kick it off on the right side to Brendan Scott. Scott over to Updegraff, who's going to drive in, free throw line, and kick back out up top to Slater. Slater now getting hounded, harassed, and finally fouled with 44 seconds to go here in the fourth quarter. I was just getting ready to say, Mark, at a certain point, you're going to have to foul Oak Ridge because Oak Ridge is able with their skilled players. You know, they don't have many posts, but the one good part about that is everybody on the court can dribble the ball because essentially you're running out 5 guards.
Yeah, and one of the things that left Lakewood susceptible earlier is they were so busy guarding the perimeter that left the Wildcats up or available underneath with an easy 2.
And that was an easy 1 as Kel Slater hits the first of 2 free throws. This game is teetering on being out of reach as long as Oak Ridge can continue to hit their free throws, and as long as they, quite frankly, don't foul Lakeway and force them to run clock off, they should be okay. Slater's second free throw is up and good. He's really been a key player for the Wildcats all afternoon, as he's been all year. Lakeway quickly the other way. Oak Ridge with a 7-point lead, trying to play defense here against Colby White. Drives against Hayward, fights through contact, no call. Shots no good. Slater with the ball. Are they going to foul him in the backcourt? They will. 80 feet away from the basket, and it'll be Colby White. Is again a really nice looking player. I like what he's done, especially in the first half. He struggled a little bit here to get things going offensively in the fourth, and they've needed him. And that just might about do it. If Oak Ridge's Kel Slater can hit these 2 free throws, Mark, it will give them a 10-point lead if he can hit both. There's 32 seconds on the board, and a 10-point lead. I don't want to say it's insurmountable, but it will certainly be quite the feat to come back from that in 30 seconds. As Slater takes his time, First shot is no good. Kel Slater looks at Coach Green and says, quiet. As he was shooting the free throw, Coach Green was barking out instructions to the Oak Ridge team who's in the backcourt. And Slater missed the shot. Gives Coach Green a hard time about that one, blames it on him, I think. He does make the second one, and Coach Green was quiet, so we'll go with that. 9-point lead for the Wildcats, 30 seconds to go. Lakeway trying to get a quick three-point off shot. They do. The shot is no good. Brennan Hayward with the rebound. Nobody guards him. He passes it over when they finally come to him. Over to Lucas Searcy, who's going to be fouled just across the half-court line, and he'll get 2 shots at a free throw. As complicated as people try to make this game, ultimately it's about making shots, Mark. And Lakeway, when they've gotten it down, Oak Ridge has been able to make shots, and Lakeway just hadn't been able to make enough shots and get enough going offensively when they've been able to get the game close, as Searcy misses his first free throw.
I think the Wildcats, you got to give them credit. I think they've done a good job dictating the pace of the game. Alex, the second shot is up and good.
10-point lead, 68-58. No ball pressure from Oak Ridge. They're going to let the ball roll across half court, and it's picked up there by Lakeway. Lakeway, corner three. That shot's off the top of the backboard. That's going to be a turnover. There's an imaginary plane there, kind of like the goal line, if you will. It goes straight up, and if it crosses that, which it did, then that is ruled as out of bounds. And you hear the claps, I'll let you hear them. That can only mean one thing. That Oak Ridge is victorious. As the clock hits 0, the Wildcats take a 10-point lead to the locker room and to the house. It's 68-58, the final score here in Loudon. I almost said in Oak Ridge. Here in Loudon, Oak Ridge gets a 68-58 win. And now they start to shake hands. Mark Haste doesn't have the stats because, well, we only have 2 people, and Mark can't write when he's got to do the camera, so we appreciate everything he's done. So we apologize for not having the stats, but that's why. And quite frankly, I'm not talented enough to hardly walk and chew bubblegum, nonetheless try to do play-by-play and keep stats, so that was never an option. If you'll hang with us here, especially those on Twitter, if you'll hang with us here, we're going to try to get Coach Green. Mark, is that fine with you, trying to get a chat with Coach Green? We'll try to catch him pretty quickly here. I know he's going to the locker room. Christmas tournament game. I don't imagine after a win that he'll be in there too long. So we will try to get a quick interview with him. But Mark, and he probably will have the stats. But Mark, if you could, just tell me your thoughts on this game. It was an up and down game. Oak Ridge ended up it's going to be a tighter game than it ends up looking after a 10-point win. But tell me your thoughts on really the entirety of this ball game.
I thought it was a well-played game. As David said, when you really don't recognize or have any impact from the refs, that it's a well-refereed game. So I'd say that, because this was a good game. I mean, it was a quality game from the start. As we said earlier, it took the Wildcats a little time to get going, but once they did get going, they were able to get a lead and command that lead throughout the rest of the game.
And Mark, the girls, who David Clary is still with us here, we appreciate you. And all the people that have listened and popped out. I understand it's a weekday, people have school or businesses to operate, and so understand that people can't always hang with us the entire time. But we appreciate you holding with us strong here through our first Twitter Space portion of the broadcast, as we may try to be on Prep Radio tomorrow, but today we were not able to do that. David Clary, could you hop on here? We'll invite you to talk us while we're waiting on Coach Green to come up here and do a quick interview post-game. David, if you'd like to talk about the girls and what they've got going on, how they've done in the tournament, preview the game they've got tonight, tell folks how they can listen to that, we'd invite you to do that as we wait for Coach Green here at Loudon.
Glad to be here. Good win for the Wildcats. Coach Green had said, as you said many times, this was going to be a really, really tough team to play athletically and size-wise, especially with, as Mark pointed out, with Darren Osborne in a boot. But it's a good win for the Wildcats. Good way to start the post-Christmas vacation tournament schedule. Speaking of the Lady Wildcats, they are still in Phoenix here. We'll be playing at Tempe High School today against Mesa, Arizona. Lady Wildcats 1-1 in their tournament so far. You can listen to the live broadcast on FM 92.7, FM 94.7, of course, prepradio.com. And Alex, believe it or not, we've been able to stream the ball games here from these various locations on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. And as I said at halftime, Coach Taylor, even though they're 1-1, 1. I'm sure she'd be happier if they were 2-0. Likes the way the team is bonded and the chemistry is starting to form, and that's why you go on trips like this. And so far, it's been a good one. They went to the Grand Canyon. They went to Sedona. They've had a really good time, and it always helps when you win, and that's what they did yesterday in their victory over Shadow Mountain. From right around here, and hopefully tonight they'll get a win over Mesa, and you can listen to it. That's 8 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll have the broadcast as I mentioned. Alex?
And Dave, talk about, I've never been that far west, and I know ultimately it's about wins and losses when you're doing this thing, but in Christmas tournaments, you have to remember these are kids, and for a lot of the kids and girls, I'm sure, and maybe people that are in the crew traveling with you, it may be their first time ever getting on a flight. So talk about some of those experiences, the Grand Canyon, talk about what these kids have gotten to experience that had they not played in this tournament, maybe they wouldn't have gotten to.
Well, Coach Taylor said something which I thought was funny to me yesterday. She said it seems like these kids have more money than she does. But they've spent 2 days really just doing a lot of shopping. I mean, you know how young ladies like to shop, and I don't want to be chauvinistic here, but that's kind of the way it is. And they've done that. And yeah, the Grand Canyon, if you've ever been there, and I know there's several people obviously who've been there, it's just a sight to behold. I mean, it's just so vast, so big, nearly a mile down, and you can't help but gasp at it. And you're right, there was, I think half the team had never been on an airplane before, and so that's always a great experience. But like I keep saying, you know, we have 5-6 freshmen on the team, a roster of about 13, and those freshmen are talented. But it's the bonding and the chemistry, which I think is going to help the Lady Wildcats down the stretch. And you know, the shopping and going sightseeing and eating out and everything, just staying in a really nice hotel here at a Grand Resort has made their trip. And got 2 more games to go. One tonight, one tomorrow, and then back home on the 23rd. That's when the Lady Wildcats and we'll be returning, and we'll start basketball again right after Christmas. The guys are going to the next level tournament in Nashville at CPA. This will be about the 3rd or 4th time we've been there. The girls will be going up to the Hal Hitter Gym in Greenville, Tennessee, in the Andrew Johnson Bank Ladies Classic. They'll start at 12 noon against Pulaski County, Virginia. On the 28th, the guys will play Louisville Male High School at 6 o'clock Eastern time from CPA. As you've been saying throughout the broadcast, love tournament basketball in December.
Absolutely. And Dave, I'll get you to stay with us here as we're waiting on Coach Green. And Oak Ridge, the boys, I'm not sure, you probably know the time, we'll get it from Coach Green, but they play Concord. I'm not sure if you know anything about Concord Christian. The only thing I know is it's in the Concord area, Dave, around Farragut. I don't know anything more. Do you know anything about that roster? What kind of team the boys could be expecting to see tomorrow here at Loudon?
Absolutely a fine team. We played them last year on their home floor with Milloway, Miller, Stafford, and all those guys, Jonathan Stewart, and almost got beat. It was a 61-58 ball game at Concord Christian. They are very talented. They've got size. They can shoot. They handle the ball real well. They got a couple of brothers that really can play some basketball. You think this Lakeway Christian team is good. Concord is not quite as big, although they have one real big guy. But they are really talented. The Wildcats will have to come with their A game again tomorrow because we barely escaped that. It's a very tiny gym they have over at Concord Christian, and it was one of those COVID ball games where they just scheduled it because they needed a game, and we went over there to play, and I can tell you, we escaped that trap, 61-58. The game tomorrow is earlier. 10 a.m. is the scheduled time for the game, and I know I think you and James are going to be coming over to Loudon to cover it, aren't you?
Yep, it'll be myself and James Branson as Coach Green. It comes out of the locker room. So, David, thank you very much for your preview. Again, you can tell them one more time before we get Coach Green up here how they can listen to you and what time for the Lady Wildcats broadcast tonight.
8 o'clock Eastern time. You can watch it on our Prep Radio channel on YouTube. You can listen to it on FM 92.7, prepradio.com, and Oak Ridge Schools Channel 15. Alex, thanks a lot for doing the broadcast, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much, David. If this worked okay, I know there were some technical issues. If it worked okay, we may try to do the same thing tomorrow. Your thoughts on that?
Actually, after the second half, it was perfect. The first half was a little bit choppy for whatever reason. The second half did not miss a beat, and I enjoyed and I appreciate the sponsor for sponsoring the ball game today too. But it was perfect in the second half.
Okay, well, thank you so much, David. Good luck to you and the broadcast team as well as Coach Taylor and the Lady Wildcats as they get going tonight. Thank you very much, David. And I'm back here with Coach Aaron Green. Coach Green, first off, congratulations on a win. I know you and I talked briefly before the game. One of the more talented teams you've seen thus far. Talk about your team's effort tonight.
Yeah, it was a good win. I thought that's like you said, a very talented team, and it's really a bad matchups for us. And they got two. I don't know how tall you think 14, 15 were 6'6", 6'5", 6'6", and but not other than that, they're 230, 240, strong and athletic. It's hard for us to match up with. I thought, Lucas Searcy didn't score a lot, but he beat and banged and did a good job guarding a couple of those guys. But it was a good win. That's a good team we played. I thought our pressure bothered them. A lot of times, and you got to think about it too. We got mismatches when we play big teams, but at the same time, they got a mismatch with us. So it's kind of a give and take. You can say, well, the Oak Ridge is so small, but if it's a big team, they've tried to play zone because they couldn't match up. Hadn't seen a ton of zone. I thought first half we made 6 threes. We executed for the most part fairly well. So that these are good games to play. We got a big team, it's athletic. 4 can play for them. He's a good guard. 24 is a good guard. I mean, they got a good team. And I thought Kel, typical year he's had this far. Had 24. He handled the ball late and kind of led us there. Didn't make as many shots. I don't know how many threes we made the second half. I know Kel made 1. I think we only made 1 or 2 the second half, I believe. But anyway, overall, good win. That's a good team we played. I was proud of them. I thought we competed and battled. I wasn't, just from as far as a negative, I thought in the third quarter we didn't do as good a job defending. I thought they made some adjustments against our pressure. They started attacking it, and we're letting them get to the rim too much. And that led to some buckets and ones, and also got them loose in the offensive glass. But it's proud of them, a good win.
And one thing that I was talking with Mark, and you don't have to go real in depth about this, but I was curious from their standpoint. I thought the whole game they should have been making more of a concerted effort, really, to post up those big guys. They did it a little bit in the second half, had some immediate success, had some ones, and we were talking with Mark, and I was saying, well, maybe it's not that they're not trying to do that, but maybe they're weighing the options and saying, in order to do that, we're going to have to let Oak Ridge set up their defense. Do you think that was the case, or what do you think kind of dictated? Was it more on you or more of them on going away from it?
It's a good question. I thought, that was one of our emphasis going in, as we were concerned about, post D. And, really the way, we have to play post D is we have to apply pressure so they can't see and get it to the post, because we're fronting. If you're sagged off and they're not experiencing pressure, they can throw it and get dimes in there and get it to them where they can score. So to answer your question, I thought the reason they didn't is because of our pressure. We sped them up, and it's hard to do. It's easier said than done when you're getting pressure to trying to get that thing inside, especially if we're fronting him and we got good ball pressure on the backside. I use the analogy, actually, yesterday in practice with our team, Tom Brady got shut out for the first time the other day in 15 years, I think. And the reason they got shut out, he got sacked 4 times because he got pressured. And that's to answer your question. Sometimes your best post D is not necessarily down in there on your mismatch, but it's out here on the perimeter, which is protecting. It's kind of like if you're playing a good quarterback and you can get pressure on him. Sometimes you can, and I'm not a football coach, but I don't know if Coach Cummings is listening, but maybe I need to be defensive coordinator coach. But no, I'm just kidding. But again, if you have pressure, if you got a good quarterback and you're putting pressure, you're not necessarily as accurate.
As the girls are warming up for this next game, a mascot I've never seen, the Hog Eyes. Not sure I know what that is, unless it's literally a pig's eye. I'm not sure. Coach, let's get back. I know we're going to let you go, but last question for you is your pitch. I'm just going to let you kind of have a sales pitch for folks as far as the quality of game and opponent you're going to see tomorrow. And if they want to come out here at 10 a.m., almost never in my life have I ever seen a basketball tournament start early. You're happy if it starts on time. Yeah. Your game started a little bit early. Tell people about it if they want to come out and see it at 10 a.m.
So tomorrow we play Concord Christian. Is probably the best team we played up to this point. I don't say that as coach talk. They've got 2 really good guards, 1 athlete, some post. They're bigger than Lakeway than we played today. So it's going to be a heck of a challenge. With our team last year, they got the same team back from last year, and we barely beat them in third place last year. But I kind of like the 10 a.m. game. You know, if you're fortunate enough to make a state tournament, we've played several of those first-round 10 a.m. games, so it gives you guys, you know, it's on the road, so you're having to travel, but it gives your guys an opportunity to get one of those in. So, you know, as far as preparation, you know, I just ask our team, hey, you know, I don't want to get over here too early. Do you want to have, you know, I trust them to tell me what they want to do. So we're going to have walkthrough at 8. We'll watch tape, go through their stuff, walk through, and head down here, you know, 8:45, get here at 9:15, tip it up. So if you don't have any, I don't know what this people are working, what is tomorrow, 22nd or 23rd? Some people may still be working, but if you're not, 10 a.m. tomorrow, it should be a heck of a ball game. We'll have our hands full. We'll have to play well to win, but you want to see some good basketball. And there's some other good games out there. Meigs County plays Lakeway Christian later on. So if you want to get out of the house, come to Loudon High School. That's great. This is around where I grew up. This is Loudon. They got the small gyms. You got the kind of the box gym here. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. So if you have anything going on, come watch us.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. Merry Christmas. I'll see you tomorrow.
Right.
Unfortunately, you're going to have to deal with me again.
That's all right, and congrats to the girls. They got a win yesterday. What time they play today?
8 o'clock. David Clare will have that call on Prep
tonight,
Radio.
So I'll be watching if I can't. My son, I'll be listening because my son's got a game at the same time. So last night I went out to my car before his game, was listening to David on the radio, trying to catch some of Cannons and put it on my phone. But good win yesterday, and safe. I hope they're having a good trip and return safely. So Merry Christmas.
Hey, Merry Christmas, Coach. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Good luck. Mark, you want to say anything? Final thoughts? He says, no, I need to get back to work, Alex. Stop being a slack. So thank you very much for listening. We'll catch you. We're going to try probably the Twitter Spaces again tomorrow. So if you're listening to us on YouTube, know that you can go to Twitter at Oak Ridge Sports. Around 10 a.m. we'll go live, and you can listen live tomorrow. If not, you can always catch the YouTube broadcast later on. And one last time, we'd like to remind you that today's individual game sponsor is Madison Insurance Group. In service for 45 years, Madison Insurance Group serves every aspect of your needs. They have direct access to multiple leading insurance carriers to ensure a one-stop approach. This enables Madison Insurance Group to give you the best coverage at the best price for your home and auto, as well as business insurance. With offices in Clinton and Oak Ridge, stop by to let one of their knowledgeable staff members help protect things that are most important to you. Thank you so much for listening. We'll be back again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Between now and then, if you're hungry for some basketball, listen to David Clary and the Lady Wildcats at 8 o'clock Eastern on Prep Radio. And you can go to YouTube and watch the game over on Prep Radio's YouTube channel. So long from Loudon High School. Go Wildcats. We'll talk to you tomorrow.